Let us spend some time with today's Gospel and the saint we celebrate today, Saint Luke, Apostle and Evangelist. Saint Luke by profession was a doctor, a healer. This is reflected in the style and the tone of his writings. Among the Gospel writers, he emphasizes most intensely the healing nature, the loving kindness of God. He left for us the most beautiful stories of compassion. This healing, the image of the healing Christ, gives us a distance from ourselves. Literally, when we engage with his gospel, particularly the unique core stories like the prodigal son, we can sense that God's way of speaking and acting is somewhat crucially different from ours. While we are governed by our selfishness and innate narcissism, when we follow our own interests in order to feel stable in life and in the world, God's approach is totally different. He offers a healing distance from ourselves. And through St. Luke's writings, we can really rejoice and experience the communion with God, that life with Him and life with or in ourselves are so different. And this healing distance is what we can detect in all the words of the Scriptures, in the New Testament and in particular in the Psalms. Somehow we enter as if we are entering a room which has a different air, very fresh. It has a very different climate inside, because it is not about ourselves, but about our life shared with God, God's healing life shared with us. And perhaps we can also link the images of loving kindness in Luke's Gospel and the ethos of the Psalms. It's not about the narcissistic human self which follows its own interests. We don't find in the Psalms those poetic images which we apply in our own poetry. In human poetry and literature, we also need a kind of a twisted distance from reality, a weird image, a kind of unnatural life, a shocking contrast, in order that poetic should speak to us. In our poetic images, we evoke a little bit of chaos and the extraordinary, which is out of ordinary. In the Psalms and in Luke's stories of loving kindness, we don't find this kind of tension, because it's nourished not by our own inner chaos and self-interest and imagination, but from within God's life itself. Luke's stories of compassion, the finding the lost sheep, finding the lost drachma in the house, the prodigal son, they lift us above ourselves, and they give us a vision which is a healing vision. as mentioned, it stems from the life, from our communion shared with God. So today let us celebrate Saint Luke, who offers us this healing distance, or to be more precise, this healing closeness to God, which is the only lasting closeness.